What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we're going over Solana as this price is getting set up for a big move and you need to be prepared for it. So let's not waste any more time at all and let's get straight into today's video. Now, in the last video, I was telling you guys that I wanted to see Solana break 15.15. We could clearly see that we had this pullback off of this level here. We had a pullback off of this level here. And whenever you look at it from a grand scheme of things, it is clearly a very, very significant point. Now, we were also kind of hinting at the idea that there could be some possible inverse head and shoulders to play out right here. And as soon as we came back up to this level, I said, look for a pullback, probably back towards, $12 to $11, somewhere in this area. And if we are capable of putting in a move of this nature, then breaking 15.15, again, we could have seen a move back up towards the $20-ish area. But what we're seeing right now is that it seems as if we're getting a little bit of warning signs that this pullback to the downside could continue, and we may not have started to see this climb back towards 15.15 just yet. Now, the reason that I'm starting to notice that is because of two main components. The first component is it does seem that we have completed a 5-wave to the top side on the hourlies. Of course, whenever we put in a 1, we of course saw the micro 2, we saw in a 3 here, pull back for the 4, and then we came in and put in a 5, and then we put in a double top, right? So of course we had 5 strong waves to the top side, that was followed by a double top, and then a pullback to the downside. That alone tells me, okay, we very well may be in corrective territory, in which we could see some type of, more macro, A to a B pull to a C back to the downside before we do look to continue this move to the top side, if that is what's going to happen. Now, not only that though, you can see that we are now running into some resistance at our 618 to 786 level in between 1446 and 1408, which is the macro Fibonacci zone. Typically speaking, when we get a pullback from a high down to a low, we will retrace into this zone, and this will either act as a door or a wall. If it's a wall, we are going to get rejected off of it and push back to the downside. If it's a door, we're going to break through it and typically extend up past our 1.272, which could be about $15.61, which does break through this key level of significance that we've been talking about. So what this means for us is that we needed to pay attention to the interaction here. Well, currently the interaction is showing some very wall-like interactions in which we are getting rejected, and it's not even really been close, right? We immediately went up into it, and as quick as we got into it is as quick as we fell out of it. And while that has been happening, we are putting in a very, very bearish looking wave to the top side, in which we are getting loads of overlap on this move. Remember, whenever you're putting in these highs and these lows and these highs and these lows to the upside, even though we are in technically an uptrend, when you're in moments like this where there's overlap, typically speaking, the more macro pullback will happen. And of course, it doesn't always have to go to a lower low. Sometimes you can get a break to the downside, double bottom out, and then look to continue, but more often than not, you will get this move to the downside, and that just kind of seems what's likely to happen right now as we are getting rejected off this 618 to 786 zone. So what I'm paying the most amount of attention to is, of course, still the 618 786 zone, but I am expecting some type of pullback to the downside relatively soon here. Now, the way in which I would be invalidated on this is if we're capable of breaking 1446. If we break 1446, the bullish momentum to the top side will likely kind of outweigh any of this bearishness that we're currently seeing, and it does seem as if at that point we would be very likely to see some type of strong move towards the top side and come back up to retest 15.15. But again, unless we're capable of doing that, if you do start to see these levels getting lost, if we do start to come back down below 1375, I would expect some type of roll back to what could honestly be as low as the low 13s, but possibly even come retest this bottom down here around 1280, which is currently looking like a fall of another 7 to 8% to the downside. So I would be very, very careful right now. Something you have to understand is that whenever we have days like yesterday in the market where, let's just get rid of all this, right? Whenever we have a day in the market like we did, in which Solana, of course, did okay yesterday. We saw from like bottom to top, it went up about, 10%, which is fantastic, but almost near immediately getting eaten up back to the downside. And all of that progress really didn't even put in a new high or even a new local high on a day when something like Matic, for example, is breaking all of its local highs, or even Bitcoin, right? Even Bitcoin breaking local highs, Ethereum breaking local highs. That just goes to show that the macro factors that have been kind of weighing down on Solana are very well still there. And because of of that, if this market does turn bearish at any given point, the effects that it'll have on Solana will be greater than the rest right now. So just be very careful. Like I said, I am expecting another pull back towards these, 13 to 12-ish dollars relatively soon here. So I wouldn't be necessarily going super long right now. And I really wouldn't be taking any bullish bets on Solana again until it's capable of showing that it can break this 1446 level, which is the 786 level, to the top side. So with that said, I hope you guys do enjoy these quick fire updates where I just let you guys know exactly what I'm seeing and what I'm doing to prepare for it. If you do, you can always let me know simply and easily just by liking this video and subscribing to the channel so that I know you want to see more content just like this. But with that said, that's going to be about it. I will of course see you all tomorrow. Y'all have an amazing day. Peace.